So I'm recording this on my MacBook, so that recording may not be the greatest. And this is my first episode or attempt to um, make this. So bear with me. I'm Gen X, so I've done this before. It's just I've done enough just to forget about it. So on today's episode of Today's Treasures, um, I wanted to share, I'm doing this basically to document it for myself, but I find some really interesting, historical vintage things while I'm out sourcing for my reselling business. And I thought I'd share, this was kind of unique. I mean, I'm not unique, but I mean, I haven't run into it before. Um, it's a Mr. Potato Head uh, game or toy, and from the chat GBT said it was like the 1950s, so it was before my time. It's mainly a boomer toy, I'm assuming, but is in really good shape. They were thinking it's like 1958 maybe, but I've never seen one of these before. And a couple of things I learned about it is um, you can. I thought, oh, there's gonna be like a plastic head, just like that's the what I'm used to, the Mr. Potato Head with the plastic toy, plastic mold, the plastic head. But come to find out, this they you are supposed to use a real potato. So easy to assemble these and more with any fruit or vegetable. What were they thinking? I don't know. Like maybe they wanted to encourage. Like I grabbed a real potato. That's what, here, go play with your toy. um, and it's kind of cute. It has all these little pieces. I would take them out and I'll show you. Like I'll do a cut into I'll take these out of the bag and show you more. There's an eyeball and stuff. But I ended up selling this. Like I couldn't believe it. I picked it up, I listed it, and the weekend, and then the like 3 days after I listed it, it sold. So maybe I should have charged more. I don't know. I'm not really into it for that. Like I got a really good deal. I got a good chunk for it. But this actually had two sets of in one box. So I charged a little bit more, and they were in really good shape. But there's some of the pieces, and then it had these little styrofoam balls that some of the pieces were stuck in. See, they look like ears, kind of, and this looks like a nose. But anyway, and then it had this. I think this is like a backdrop or something that you can see it's kind of falling apart. But yeah, there's like a fence, and then this is like a cloud. I don't know if you can see that. And then I guess you just stick the pieces in the potato. I'm not going to do it, like I said, because I sold it, but I didn't know. I didn't know. I mean, parents weren't exactly thrilled about. I can imagine that, wasting food or dealing with rotten potatoes stuck in the box. I mean, the box kind of has that little, it kind of smells funky. So you know what I do with my clothing is I put just a little, I cut up a dryer sheet into little squares, and then I put inside these boxes, and it takes the odor, it grabs the odor and takes it right out. So when I'm sticking it in my inventory, I stick a dryer sheet in there, and it does wonders. And it even collects, it helps with the moisture too. You don't need those little salt packs or whatever they're called. But yeah, I thought I'd share that. So a vintage Mr. Potato Head box. And what I'll do is I'm gonna put a link to my store in the description. And every week I'm gonna post these different videos. This one I happen to have sold, so that's gone. But I'll put a link to my store to my eBay store. It's called Shop Full of Memories. And I really focus on like Gen X. You can see behind me, I'm a Barbie collector and Cabbage Patch doll and Star Trek and all, pop 80s pop culture. I got a Speak and Spell and all that stuff. Actually, from the one that I grew up with and played with when I was a kid. So I've got a ton of stuff like that to share. But I just thought this was really cool, and I wanted to document it and get a video recording of it. And like I said, I'll cut in. You'll see that too. The an actual video of all the pieces laid out, so you can see. Is pretty neat. I just wanted to document it. Yeah, when I guess when Mr. Potato Head first came out in 1952, there wasn't a plastic head included. Like I said, they wanted the kids were supposed to raid the kitchen, I guess, and use a real potato and stick these plastic pieces into the eyes, these eyes, and you're going to stick them into the real potato. So that had to, unless you washed them like kids do that. Um, yeah, so that's why was really happy to find this. It was $10, and it had, like I said, it had two sets in there. So I was thrilled to find that at a garage sale. Um, and lucky us Gen Xers, we got the plastic. I remember I had one. I'm pretty sure as a kid. It's long gone. I don't know what happened to it, but yeah, I remember having the big plastic brown potato head, and then sticking all the, you could put the eyes in the ear spot and make, Picasso looking head like on Toy Story. But I just thought I'd share, and please come back, and I'm gonna have more, more, a lot more finds. I've got more to post. I found, stay tuned, because I found a vintage. I think it's from like the 1970s, a vintage Barbie friendship. It was a case that was shaped like half a plane fuselage. It's all vinyl. Back in the day, that's the way it was, and it was in really good shape. Got it for a really good price. So I'll share that in the next episode. But so come back and stay tuned for more vintage treasure hunting adventures. Thanks again.